Using an online microscope is just as frustrating as using one in person. So rest assured that you are getting the full service with a remote class. When we use the microscope in our class, I will provide you with a link that brings you to this specific website, which you can see up here is called Histology Guide. So this is a page that you would see with a link that I might provide for you in class. First, what you see is up here on the left is a bird's eye view of the entire slide. What's here in the center is what you are viewing, and you have the ability to move this to the left, to the right, up and down, and look at how the little bird's eye view changes when I do that. I can also increase my magnification. Oh, and look at this. The bird's eye view ends up with a box showing you where you are. So you might, by mistake, move your mouse and you're like, wait, where did the thing that I was viewing, where did it go? And you can see up here in the bird's eye view box where you are and how to move your slide to get back to what you were looking at. Now this is something that you don't get with an in-person microscope, which makes using an online microscope a lot easier. Okay, so moving the slide around is one thing. Down here on the bottom left are some really important controls. There are preset magnifications at 4x, 10x, 20x. And when I give you a link to a website, I may say you may prefer to use 10x or something in between 10 and 20, but it gives you an idea of where your magnification can be. Now, what if I say the best view is to see something at 15, because 15 isn't here? What you can then do is use this slider, and the slider helps you view in and move out. Now, look at what happens to this button over here that's called the current magnification. As I zoom out, that becomes less. As I zoom in, it becomes more. So I can move this slider, I can use these preset magnifications, and no matter what I do, my current magnification is shown right here over on the left. So if I give you a link and I tell you a preferred magnification, you can find it. Now, let's say that you can't get your mouse to do this handy hand to move the slide around. You can use these arrow directionals down here, which is sometimes a good idea. Now, let's say that you have zoomed in, you have no idea of where you are, you completely lost what you're supposed to be looking at. This button right here brings you back to the big view. Right? So it resets your view back to the link that I gave you to access, right? And this allows you to kind of start over again, nice and fresh, with looking at the slide. Now, what if I say that I would like for you to zoom in to 40x and take a picture or a screenshot? Many of you will find that using keyboard shortcuts or doing a print screen might not actually work on this website. And one of the best things that you can do is to use this button right here, which is a download button. When I click this, this view has now been saved to my downloads folder. And I can go and find this view and upload it into a question in Brightspace, a Word document, up into Miro that we use for labs, but this actually puts a picture of this view onto my computer. Okay, so we've got the bird's eye view, we've got the magnifications, we've got how to reset our view if we get lost. We know that we can download a picture to our computer, but many times when I give you something to look at, I may refer to this right-hand side reading menu. And sometimes there will be things that have links that bring you right to something in the slide. So make sure that you're reading my instructions, and so you're not just wildly looking around the slide. I may say, go to this website and click on the link something in the right-hand side reading menu. The other thing to note is that this right-hand side reading menu also gives you different views of things in the slide. Now, I've chosen this slide to be an example here because this slide right now is stained with this purple stain called hematoxylin. If I move to page 2, it shows me the same tissue stained with a stain called eosin. And if I move to page 3, it shows me the tissue stained with both of these. Oh, and look at this. Here you go. Here's a link that brings me right to something that I may want you to look at on the slide, as the link doesn't load and I say this. But this is just to let you know that we have a designated microscope. It is not random. It has preset magnifications. You have to know how to move around on the slide. You have to know sometimes how to take measurements, which we will do in a lab. And you also sometimes have to know how to download it. So let me show you something, because I certainly did not make this website, and somebody did, so that students like yourself could have an online microscope. If I go up here to this link and this link here, it brings me back to a main menu of this website. And here is this website. It is very good. You can search for any type of slide that you may want. It does have a slide box, which, if you imagine this, if we were in person, I would hand you this little box full of 40 slides that you're supposed to be looking at through the semester. This virtual microscope also has a slide box. So this isn't just for viewing very strange organs in sections. As you look here, when we do the epithelial tissues lab, you could come to this website and get a nice little introduction as to what epithelial tissues are. You could click on some of these and read the right-hand side reading menu, right? You could even click on kidney and see the kidney in detail right here. Renal corpuscles, which we'll do in 172. But don't forget that this histology website is a very good introduction to each one of our labs. I do expect you to be looking at this before we get to lab. I do want you to use this as a source of information. So please explore this website. Learn how it works, right? Fiddle around with the microscope. Practice downloading something to your computer and finding that download. The microscope, whether it's in person or whether it's online, it takes time to get used to mastering the tool. And there's no disadvantage to using an online microscope compared to an in-person. You can learn the same traits, qualities, skills. So please explore this website. Learn how it works. Fiddle around with it. Play with it, right? Yes, and please don't forget that this is an excellent resource for our class.